Oh, yeah. Is it? It's Thursday, right? Is it Thursday already? Wow. It's already Thursday. This week is flying by. We got a lot to get into today. Will the Acolyte retcon the prequel trilogy? Fans have been running wild about this, whether or not this show involving Sith in this time period will be retconning the prequel trilogy or not. We're going to talk about all of it today. We also have some other Star Wars news to get to as well about the Phantom Menace. This is brand new thing from behind the scenes. We got a lot to get into. So let's dive into all of it. What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. We got a lot, and I mean a lot, to get into in just a little short amount of time that we have together on this fine Thursday afternoon. So what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? What's up, chat? What is up, everybody? What's up? What's up, everybody? Let me open up the chat so we can say hi to everybody and start up a poll, because I want to talk about this Acolyte show. Because still, all over the interwebs, I've been seeing a ton of people talking crap, for lack of a better word, for lack of a better phrase, talking crap about the Acolyte show, and I want to know where we are at with it. We're only 2.5-ish weeks away, 2.5-ish weeks. Start the countdown. It's 19 days until the Acolyte drops. 19 days until this show drops, and we got a lot to predict, a lot to talk about, and we got a lot to do, okay? A lot to do. So let's say hi to everybody in the chat. What's up? Mando United, how we doing? Dustin, what is up? Starchip66 in the house. Zap, what's up? Brandon, how we doing? Chris, what is up? Force Hook, what's up? Kit Fisto, how we doing? Nick, what is up? Coslix FV, what's up? Rose, how we doing? Jeannie from Tahini in the house. Tony, what's up? Did I get everybody? Dominic, what's up? Darth Fernando, how we doing? Dinosaur, what's up? Okay, I think I hit everybody. If I missed you, just yell at me in the chat. What's up, everybody? Okay, let's start up a new poll right off the bat. I want to see where you guys are at with this whole damn thing called the Acolyte. So if you haven't smashed a like on this stream yet, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Go smash a freaking like on this stream. But also, let's start up a new poll. Are you excited for the... Actually, no. We're not going to put up that poll today. No, we're not. Today we're going to talk about one specific thing. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, but one specific thing will be the main topic of the discussion, and that is, will the Acolyte retcon the prequel trilogy? So let's start with that, okay? Do you think the Acolyte will retcon the prequels? Yes or no? Pure and simple, yes or no. Do you think the Acolyte will retcon the prequel trilogy? Let's just start there. And if you say yes, tell me why in the chat. And if you say no, tell me why in the chat. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Okay? So let's start there. Let's start there. Hang on. Hang on. Let me, okay? Let me do this. Let me do that. I wasn't really... that's much better. Okay, now we're talking. Just doing a little wizardry over here behind the scenes. Okay, now much better. Much better. Okay. Here's where the problem is, okay? As this poll is almost 50-50 right down the middle. Whew. Yikes. What is there to retcon specifically, Mike? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What is there to retcon? In the Phantom Menace, a nice Jedi master by the name of Ki-Adi-Mundi. You guys know who that is? Give me a 1 into the chat if you know who Ki-Adi-Mundi is. Ki-Adi-Mundi. There he is. Do we know who Ki-Adi-Mundi is? The guy who's so cool that his head just kept on growing. Where's a good picture of this guy? Here we go. Perfect picture. We know who Ki-Adi-Mundi is, right? Nice. Yeah, come on. This isn't day one of Star Wars 101, is it? Okay, here we go. This is our boy, Ki-Adi-Mundi. The big-ass head man. Ki-Adi-Mundi. The guy who was so smart that his head just kept on growing. So Ki-Adi-Mundi in The Phantom Menace says that the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years. 1,000 0. 1,000. Meaning the Acolyte show, which only takes place 100 years before The Phantom Menace, cannot have Sith involved. Or at least the Sith can be involved, but they can't interact with the Jedi. However, we see in the trailer at least 8 Jedi in the forest fighting against what looks to be a masked Sith Lord. Now, that could be kind of a tightrope line that you could walk down like, that's not really a Sith, that's just a guy with a red lightsaber. We'll talk about that. But, plain and simple, what is going to be retconned is this line right here. Ki-Adi-Mundi saying that the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years. And the scene at the end of The Phantom Menace with Yoda and Mace Windu, like it's in the thumbnail today, where they're talking about the Sith returning. This scene right here. Oh, wait, what? This scene right here. This scene between Yoda and Mace Windu at the end of The Phantom Menace, which could be one of the most important scenes literally in all of Star Wars, where they're talking about the Sith returning. Yoda, it seems as though the Sith that Obi-Wan came into contact with died. He cut Darth Maul in half on Naboo. But Yoda says, was that the master or was that the apprentice? Because there's always 2. The rule of 2. Should we talk about it? Darth Bane created the rule of 2 about 1,000 years ago. And that's why the Sith haven't been seen for 1,000 years. Because the rule of 2 goes into place and then there are only 2 Sith for a long, 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 long time. There's only 2 Sith. And that's why they remain in hiding. Until, of course, Palpatine comes around. So that's what they're talking about here. Always 2 there are. No more, no less. But that wasn't always the case. So what the fuck is Yoda talking about in this scene? Because about 1,000 years ago, there was just as many Sith as there were Jedi. Hundreds, if not thousands of Sith roaming around the galaxy. Now, of course, Yoda isn't old enough to know that. Yoda did not have any inkling of an idea of how many Sith there could have been because he wasn't alive. Yoda, even though he's 800 years old, wasn't alive during the time of the Sith being this massive, almost as big as the Jedi type, where we had massive wars in the Old Republic between the Sith and the Jedi, and there was thousands of Sith versus thousands of Jedi. Yoda wasn't there for that. However, he knows that there's always 2 Sith, meaning he knows at least the rule of 2 and was taught that throughout the Jedi Order. But how do the Jedi know this? How are the Jedi the ones who found out about the rule of 2? There's a lot of mystery that really goes down in this scene right here, that nobody seems to talk about. How do the Jedi know that there is a rule of 2 put into place for the Sith Lords? How do they know that there's always a master and an apprentice, no more, no less? When the last time that they met the Sith, there was a lot more of them. There is a lot that the Acolyte show can explain to us that has yet to be explained to us. The only problem is it's only 100 years before The Phantom Menace. So the question today is whether or not The Phantom Menace or the prequel trilogy in general will be retconned by the Acolyte. And the answer is not as plain and simple as just yes or no, although the poll does say yes or no. We got a lot to talk about today. Whether or not the Sith even showing up in the Acolyte show is technically even a retcon. It's kind of up to the point of view of the observer, as Dave Filoni likes to say. So let's talk about it. What do we think, chat? Is this a retcon or not? What do we think? Let me scroll up so I don't get too far behind on chats. Let's start with some chat. Tony says, Mike's excitement gives me a shot of energy. I appreciate that, Tony. I appreciate it. Rose says no, because The Phantom Menace just had the 25th anniversary and the prequels are fresh in our minds. So you don't think they're going to retcon them just because they're fresh in our minds? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they're fresh in our minds or not. Whether they're retconning them doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's up for the fans to decide, really. Because what's a retcon and what's not a retcon? Technically, Luke being the son of Darth Vader and Vader being his father in Empire Strikes Back was a retcon. Luke and Leia being siblings was a retcon. They weren't just making out in Empire knowing that they were siblings. Like, that is a retcon, technically. You have more recent retcons like Yoda's lightsaber being destroyed in a canon comic, but then his lightsaber is recovered by Luke in the Book of Boba Fett and offered up to Grogu. You have retcons to Kanan Jarrus's character in the Bad Batch because he's not supposed to show up in the Bad Batch because his character is explained in the canon comic about Kanan. You have some Ahsoka Tano, same sort of deal there with Tales of the Jedi, I believe, that retcons her own novel. You have some very minor, tiny little details being retconned here and there in the Star Wars timeline, but this would be a big one. A Sith showing up 100 years before the prequel trilogy when Ki-Adi-Mundi clearly says 1,000 years. This would be a big one. A big one. Yeah. Dustin Kennedy says, this show takes place in the High Republic. How could this retcon the prequels? Well, I just said it. All the lines that are said about the Sith in The Phantom Menace could be altered by this Acolyte show. Yeah. Chris says, unfortunately, I heard last year that they are going to change the whole prophecy storyline. Okay, let's talk about the prophecy for a second here. Okay, the Chosen One prophecy about Anakin Skywalker and how everybody loves to say that he's the Chosen One. Yes, he is. By definition of the Jedi's perspective of the prophecy, he is the Chosen One. However, the prophecy was wrong. As Yoda says, it was clearly misread by the Jedi, as Anakin was not there to bring balance. He was there, well, technically he was there to bring balance, but not from the point of view of the Jedi. He kills countless Jedi and brings balance, technically, by leaving about 2 Sith and 2 Jedi in the galaxy. Now, we know that those numbers are a little skewed with the Inquisitors and, of course, all the other Jedi who survived Order 66, like Cal Kestis and Baylan Skoll and Ahsoka Tano and all these other people. Regardless, he does technically bring balance. So if you want to say that the Chosen One is the one who brings balance, then yes, Anakin is the Chosen One. However, the Chosen One prophecy is just some sort of mystical bullshit that the Jedi come up with to bring hope, for lack of better words, to bring hope. And when Anakin comes along, they don't even want to bring him into the council because the council's so freaking stupid, and then they allow him to turn to the dark side. So yeah, there's your prophecy. There's your Chosen One. How's that for you? It's not all happy, fun time, playtime, fun time, fun time. That's not what the Jedi Order were. What's up, Fearless? How we doing? What's up?
Hello there.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going. No worries, Dinosaur. I appreciate you. Zap says, the Sith existed for 900 years before this show. So no, Mike. Hence, Darth Bane's rule of 2. It doesn't matter if the Jedi knew that they existed or not. Well, it does matter. That is the retcon. We know that the Sith existed in those 1,000 years up until the Phantom Menace. But from the Jedi's point of view, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. But from the Jedi's point of view, they thought that the Sith had been gone for 1,000 years. And if that changes, if the Jedi knew that the Sith were around 100 years before, that changes everything. That retcons that not only just the line from Ki-Adi-Mundi in the prequel trilogy, but it retcons what the Jedi knew and what they didn't know in the prequels. It actually means that they were hiding something extremely important from themselves. Some Jedi knew that the Sith were around 100 years ago, but they weren't telling everybody. They were keeping it a secret. Yeah. Ben, what's up? How we doing? Gina from Tahini says, why are we taking Ki-Adi-Mundi so literally? Maybe he was using hyperbole, or, yeah. He said 1,000 years. And when we're talking Star Wars, we're talking direct dates here. The reason that he says 1,000 years is because the rule of 2 was put into place 1,000 years ago. Give or take a few years. About 1,000 years ago by Darth Bane. And that's why he says that. Because when the rule of 2 is put into place, the Sith go into hiding so that they can gain power for 1,000 years until eventually Palpatine does what he does. Comes into the Senate, gets galactic control, takes out all the Jedi in one fell swoop. Yeah. Ian says, why is it so flipping difficult for people to realize that Ki-Adi-Mundi was wrong? It's not that he was wrong, because we know he's wrong. We've known he is wrong for a long, long time. Ki-Adi-Mundi, straight up wrong. Simple as that. However, the Jedi believed what he said. All of the Jedi, the tens of thousands of Jedi that exist by the time of the prequel trilogy, all believed that the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years. And when Darth Maul shows up, they're like, say what? Say what? A Sith is back? And that's the surprise of the Jedi. Now, 100 years ago, there's only a few Jedi that would still be alive, Yoda being one of them. So the majority of these younglings, or now masters, would have been taught a different lesson. That no, the Sith weren't around 100 years ago. They were around 1,000 years ago. What's up, Christoph? How we doing? Master Beckham in the house. What's up? How we doing? The biggest plot hole is actually how Yoda knows that there are only two. Exactly. So now we're talking about not just the Ki-Adi-Mundi line of him saying that the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years, but Yoda knowing about the rule of two. Yoda knowing that not only is a Sith Lord coming into play here extremely important, but he also knows that there are two, a master and an apprentice. And I'm sure in the Jedi archives there is books upon books about the Sith and their time fighting against the Sith, and how there was hundreds and thousands of Sith Lords fighting against hundreds and thousands of Jedi. Not two, hundreds, if not thousands. Yeah. Nick says, could it be at 1,000 years in Star Wars is could it be that 1,000 years in Star Wars is equivalent to 100 years, and it's not just a 1-to-1 ratio? No. Now, the yearing system in Star Wars is obviously based off of the Battle of Yavin. Jesus. The Battle of Yavin. That's why it's BBY, which is before the Battle of Yavin, and ABY, which is after the Battle of Yavin. That is how the year system works to us in Star Wars. Nobody's really, I mean, they're obviously keeping track of years, but years work the exact same. Star Wars is a world, or a galaxy, I should say, that doesn't exist to the same physics as our real world does. Planets in Star Wars all sort of revolve around the same speed. If you were to go to a different planet, even in our galaxy right now, it would be like days would be way faster or way slower. If you go to a different planet in Star Wars, it's pretty much the same exact day. Star Wars is a sci-fi. Not everything physics-wise and scientifically is going to be perfect. However, in Star Wars, a year is a year is a year is a year. So every year is the same, whether you're on Tatooine, whether you're on Coruscant, whether you're on Naboo, whether you're on Exegol, whether you're wherever. It all works the same. So 1,000 years is 1,000 years is 1,000 years, when 100 years is clearly 100 years. It's not like some sort of mixed up math equation that we're getting wrong here. Yeah. Yeah. Chris says, Obi-Wan Kenobi's in the chat. What's up? Chris says, I believe the Jedi don't want to admit that the Sith are back prior to the Phantom Menace. But why? If they come into contact with a Sith Lord in the Acolyte show, why would they cover that up? We'll get into it. That's just a metaphor question for now. We will get into it. Yeah. I like where your head's at, though. I like where your head is at. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, do you think that we could see Plagueis in this show? If yes, who could the smiling guy be? I think Plagueis is a possibility. I think they're going to go down the route, one of two routes, either Plagueis or Tenebris, probably not both. I think it's more likely to be Darth Plagueis, but I could see it also maybe being Tenebris. So we're talking about the main Sith Lord at the time of the Acolyte, 100 years before the Phantom Menace. Now, Plagueis is a Mun, and Mun can live up to 200 plus years old, so it could be Plagueis. But Tenebris could also be around at the time. It's a whole, because it's Legends, because Tenebris is Legends, because Plagueis is Legends. They're both canon characters, but their stories are Legends for now. Like, when they get explored in this Acolyte show, hopefully, then they will become canon. Let's ask you guys, who do you think is the main Sith Lord, the master at the time of the Acolyte show? Do you think it's Tenebris or do you think it's Plagueis? Tell me in the chat. What do we think? Tenebris or Plagueis? I thought years in Star Wars were based on a Coruscant year. Yeah, but that's it. You are correct. Yes, that is how the whole galaxy sees time, is because Coruscant's the capital. Yes, it's the core worlds, but it's very different from the rotations of planets in our known galaxy versus the Star Wars galaxy. It's not very different. Yeah, could it be Tenebris' master? I would say no. Because it's only 100 years before the Phantom Menace, I would say very, very unlikely. Because, like I just said, Plagueis could live up to 200 years. And even if he doesn't, even if he's only like 50 or 60, then Tenebris would be at least 40 or 50, and that already adds up to 100, so it would be Tenebris at the time. So I don't see it being even an older Sith than that. It just wouldn't really make much sense. Plus, fans, if they want to please the fandom, they're going to give us Tenebris or Plagueis, preferably Plagueis, but we'll see. Yeah, Plagueis. Jacob, what's up? So it seems like you guys would rather see Plagueis, and I agree with you. I would way rather see Plagueis because it's Palpatine's master. We've heard about him so much, and his Legends novel is probably one of the best Legends novels ever, if we're being honest. So it would be pretty damn cool to see Plagueis, way more than it would be to see Tenebris. A Bith Sith, which is Tenebris, his species is the Bith, would be awesome because the Bith are the guys who are playing the instruments at the cantina, the do. Like, that's pretty awesome, and seeing that kind of a species be a Sith would be cool. But seeing Plagueis would mean so much more. So much more. Chris says, I think it's Tenebris. That would make more sense, but they may retcon that fact by making it Plagueis. I don't know if it would make more sense, you know? I don't think it would make more sense. I think it would make more dollars, but it wouldn't make more sense, if you catch my drift. Okay, let's keep let's keep going. Yeah. Who tells us that it's a Sith, though? That's a good point. That is a great point. We don't know for a fact that this mysterious, masked-looking, smiley-face mud of bleeper in the trailer is actually a Sith Lord. We don't know that. We're going to watch the trailer, we're going to watch it back, and we're going to talk about what's going on here. But let me catch up on some chats really quick. Ian says, in Legends, a Padawan named Kib Jin, who went mad and went to the dark side and told them about the rule of two. Again, I don't know that story. But in Legends is the key words there. In Legends. None of that has been explained in canon. How does Yoda know about the rule of two? That's a great question. We don't know. Are you anti-retcon, Mike? Or it's acceptable when done right? For me, I am absolutely pro-retcon if it's done correctly. If it's done right, like you just said. Only if it's done correctly. Like, for example, I don't give two flying hoots when Luke Skywalker offers Grogu Yoda's lightsaber, because that's cool as hell. That's so freaking cool. Just because it retcons a canon comic that came out like years ago about Yoda's lightsaber being destroyed on Coruscant, who cares? It's way cooler to see Luke Skywalker offer Yoda's lightsaber to Yoda's species, Grogu, right in front of our own two freaking eyes. Like, that retcon, that type of retcon, I'm all for. But when you get to bigger things, like retconning, see, this Acolyte thing is a little bit different. This is a little bit different, and we'll talk about it. But if you go to retcon, let's say, something important, like really, really important, like, I don't know, it's tough. It's tough to think of something that isn't so, like, atrocious, so, like, crazy, like retconning Padme dying or something like that, like something crazy. Retconning Anakin losing to Obi-Wan. Like, obviously, that is a no. Like, don't go retconning some of the coolest stuff in Star Wars. But when you retcon the little things, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Yeah. Yeah, you can't retcon the entire prequel trilogy. That's for sure. Yeah. Navarro, what's up? Liam Neeson in the chat says, if somebody like Revan or Plagueis shows up, then it could Yoda's speech in The Phantom Menace? It could explain Yoda's speech in The Phantom Menace? Is that what you're saying? Well, Revan definitely can't show up. Revan's been gone for thousands of years at this point. Like thousands and thousands. So it can't be him. But yeah. Ahsoka Tano is a retcon. Technically, yes, because Ahsoka Tano is a retcon because she is the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, and before the Clone Wars came out, Anakin was not supposed to have an apprentice. True. Absolutely true. Chris says, I don't think it's a retcon because I believe that Yoda knows of the situation in the Acolyte and other Jedi Masters do not. Or they want to admit that they don't want to admit that it was a Sith. I could agree with that. I could agree with that. Chris says, they need to explain how a Sith appears in the Acolyte, and they supposedly have not been, they've been considered extinct for 1,000 years. Exactly. And that's a good kickoff point, Chris, so let's start there, okay? Let's go watch this Acolyte trailer. This one from the Someone Has Been Killing Jedi one. Let's watch it all the way through, and then let's talk about it, okay? Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about what could be retconned here.
A Jedi was...
It would help if you guys could see it, no? That would be nice, no? I think it would be nice if you guys could see the screen. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Last night, a Jedi was murdered.
The Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace. But that peace is a lie.
Jedi are being hunted.
She was my student. I trained her. Let me be the one to bring her in.
I sense this is only a small part of a larger plan. Some sort of shift to tip the scales. It's time to face the past. Destiny is not decided for you by an anonymous force. If you want to pull the thread and change everything, then pull it.
What are you?
So the biggest question of the entire trailer is, what are you? When Master Soul says, what are you? The answer to that question, whatever this thing is, this masked, creepy looking, smiley looking person, whatever this is the answer to the question, will this retcon the prequel trilogy? If this is a Sith Lord or even a Sith's apprentice, the Master or the apprentice, it changes everything. Absolutely changes everything. And the biggest question is, if it's not a Sith Lord, if this isn't an apprentice or a master to a Sith, then how the hell does he fight and absolutely demolish 8 Jedi in the forest? Actually, to see that, we have to go back to the other trailer. Hang on. Gotta go back to the original trailer. One sec. Donde está? There it is. So to see that, we got to go back to this trailer. This is the original trailer. We go to the end here.
What is that?
as we see this mysterious Sith, or maybe not Sith, just red lightsaber wielding badass, whatever it is, whatever it may be, we see it take on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7, I believe 8. There's an 8th one somewhere. In a different scene, you can see 8 lightsabers. Right now, we only see 7, but there is 8 Jedi in this forest. And in literally one fell swoop, he takes them all out at the same time. Now, he doesn't kill all of them at the same time, but pushing 8 Jedi back at the same time is an absolutely insane amount of power. And if this character is not a Sith, that needs more explanation, honestly. To me, that needs more explanation. So tell me in the chat. Give me a 1 into the chat if you think that this masked Sith, let's go back to the other trailer. Give me a 1 into the chat if you think this masked Sith is, or masked mysterious character is a Sith Lord. And give me a 2, give me a 2 if you're like, no, he's not. He's probably just some guy who found a red lightsaber, maybe has some Force abilities. A 1 is definitely a Sith Lord. A 2, or like definitely a Sith or apprentice. And a 2 is no, this is not a Sith. Where are we at? Nothing proves the Jedi are killed, they are just pushed back. That is true, but it takes an insane amount of power to push 8 Jedi back. We've seen Jedi stand their ground time and time again, even versus Force users. Look at Ahsoka Tano versus Inquisitors in Rebels. Wow, we are very split on this one. I see a bunch of 1s, but I do see a lot of 2s too. Huh. More than 7 Jedi and 1 single Sith makes them look bad. That's true, but these Jedi, I mean, they're the keepers of the peace at this point. They don't really have much experience with fighting against Sith or anything. So it all depends upon whether or not this character in the forest here with the creepy mask is a Sith or not. It's all what it depends upon. And even if it's not a Sith master, but even a Sith apprentice, it still changes the canon. Because even Yoda in The Phantom Menace says, now we have to figure out whether that was the master or the apprentice who died, talking about Darth Maul. Knowing that there is a master and apprentice, and proving that the Sith haven't been around. Even an apprentice showing up would prove that the Sith have been around over the last 1,000 years. So the biggest question remains is whether or not this is a Sith or not. And obviously, we know the gist of the show is that somebody's going around murdering Jedi. We believe that it is the May character. If I can find her. We believe... Nope, that's not her. We believe that it is this May character. Right here. She's going around killing Jedi. Now, she has some sort of help along the way as she is looking at what looks to be Octu over here. Wait, where is that scene? She looks to be on Octu here, staring off at some Sith Lord in the distance. She has help. Whoever she's working for, she has help. And if this guy's a Sith Lord, it changes everything. I believe, truly, and it might not be the craziest retcon ever, but it is a retcon. Like, this will retcon the prequel trilogy if this guy, this masked-looking, creepy-looking guy, for lack of a better word, is a Sith. It would take away what Ki-Adi-Mundi said. It would retcon that line, and it would prove that Yoda did know what was going on here. So my big question to you guys, my huge question to you guys is, do you think we will see Yoda in the Acolyte? Will Master Yoda show up in the Acolyte? By the time of the prequel trilogy, give me a 1 into the chat if you say yes, give me a 2 if you're like no. 1 is yes, Yoda will be in it. 2 is no, he won't be. Yoda is about 800 years old in the prequel trilogy. So he'd only be about 700 years old in the time of the Acolyte. Very old. Still, at the time of this show, he will be a master. He will be on the Jedi Council. The question is, will he be in the show? He's not in any of the trailers. We have seen Coruscant and the Jedi Temple on Coruscant in the trailers. But we haven't seen Yoda. We haven't seen the Jedi Council either. So the biggest question is, will he show up? And I see a lot of you guys saying, yes, he will show up, but only as a short little cameo. Interesting. Interesting. John Groom, what's up? Says maybe the Jedi, including Yoda, will keep this all a secret. That is the biggest thing. If Yoda is in this show, and he does know about this masked-looking, creepy-looking buddy here, will Yoda be a part of knowing about the Sith and keeping it a secret? It is possible. It is very well possible that the 8 or some odd 8-ish Jedi that are in the forest with this Sith, it's possible that they all die. We see all the main characters from this Acolyte show in that forest, though, which complicates things. Will all of our main characters, from Master Soul to Yord to Daphne Keen's character, blanking on her name, will all of these main characters of this show die in some sort of Rogue One type ending that we were predicting for the end of the Bad Batch? I don't think so. I actually don't. And I know you guys are like, oh, Mike just likes to see people die. I don't think they're going to die. Hear it here. Hey, look, I don't think they're going to die. Let's throw a party. Yeah, I don't think they're going to die. Woohoo!
Incorrect.
Okay. I don't think they're going to die. I really don't. Which means these Jedi who confront a Sith frickin' Lord in the forest are going to know about the Sith. Or at least they're going to say, I think the Sith are back. If I put 1 and 1 together, it doesn't equal 3. It equals 2. Okay? So they probably will think that the Sith are back, which complicates everything. Absolutely everything. Because now you have Jedi like Yoda who could be alive at this time, or is confirmed to be alive at this time, who is integral to the Jedi Order, knowing about a Sith Lord that was around 100 years before the Phantom Menace. Not 1,000, 100. Meaning the Jedi are keeping secrets from themselves in the inside, corrupting themselves and turning them into the Jedi we see in the prequel trilogy. What do we think, chat? What do we think? Hang on, let me scroll up a little bit so I can keep catching up here. What the hell? Where was I? Oh, here we go. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, if the events of the Acolyte remain hidden or unheard from our main Jedi, I think it can work. Well, from the looks of it, with Master Venestra being in the trailer, which I think she's probably going to have a seat on the council at this time in the timeline. I appreciate the hearts, guys. I really do. She's probably on the council. If not, Master Soul is also probably on the council. Somebody is going to be of a high ranking enough to be on that council. Probably Master Soul. But they're going to know. They're going to know. They're going to know. Rose says, it's not a retcon if the Jedi believe that there were no Sith, yet the Sith remain hidden and lived in obscurity, like the fate of the Jedi novels in the EU. So you're saying there's no retcon if the Jedi don't know about the Sith. So us as the audience can see the Sith, but the Jedi cannot. There's one big problem with that. One huge problem with that. We see in the trailer for this show 8 Jedi. 8 fight against what looks to be a Sith Lord, or at least an apprentice to one, in the forest. How do we get around that? Because if the Jedi don't know about the Sith, then they still technically don't know that they exist, but they fight against one in the forest in the frickin' trailer. Which, can we talk about this for a second? We know, as Star Wars fans, usually, and I say usually because the Bad Batch Season 3 was kind of the exception, usually, when it comes to live action Star Wars, The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, not the Bad Batch, Andor, Kenobi, when it comes to live action Star Wars content, the trailers only usually show you the first couple episodes. So we're all just sitting here saying, oh, maybe this fight between these Jedi and this Sith in the forest is in like episode 8, the last episode of the show. Probably not. It's probably in the first 4. if I were to guess. At least the first half of the season. Meaning, this is just the beginning. They wouldn't show us the climactic event at the end of the show in the trailer. They would not do that. So we're talking about 8 Jedi versus a possible Sith masked creature in the forest in the first half of this show. And the best part about the Acolyte, as excited I am for it, is it's hard to predict what's going to happen. It's very difficult when you look at it side by side with a show like Ahsoka or whatever. Like, we don't know anything about this time period, about these characters, about what's going down. So all we have is the information that's given to us from the trailer. If you go watch, if you guys were here for the last live stream, we broke down what we think's going on with the twin theory and how the witch's home or whatever that was getting blown up, and it looks like the Jedi were supposed to be there to protect them, and we were piecing all these tiny little puzzle pieces together and putting, it was like this massive puzzle where we're missing half the pieces and we're trying to put it together and come out with an outcome. It's nearly impossible. When Ahsoka was coming out, you had the knowledge of the Ahsoka characters, the Ghost Crew characters. You knew who Thrawn was. Morgan Elsbeth was already in The Mandalorian Season 2. We were predicting that the World Between Worlds was going to happen with Anakin Skywalker. We knew a lot of that was already coming. With the Acolyte, we don't know shit. We don't know a single thing at all, which is cool at the same time as being frustrating because we don't know what to expect. And we don't know whether or not this show will be retconning the prequel trilogy or not. However, this trailer sure makes it look like it is. Sure makes the prequel trilogy look like a big fat lie. Ki-Adi-Mundi's lying. Yoda is lying. Mace Windu probably lying. Or at least he doesn't know that he is. And by the end of The Acolyte, we might be at a point where we rewatch the prequel trilogy and we look at Yoda in a completely different light. Which might be a bad thing for a lot of Star Wars fans. A lot of Star Wars fans who are already bitching and moaning about this Acolyte show, it might get a lot worse. A lot worse. If they change the character of Yoda. Yoda is near and dear to many Star Wars fans' hearts. He is. He's a fan favorite character, to say the least. And in the prequel trilogy, he's supposed to be this grand master who knows everything, and he's a lovable guy. But for me, even in the Clone Wars, he always seems to be hiding something. And the Acolyte show might prove to us that that is the case. Yoda is hiding something. I don't know, man. This might get a little crazy. This might start a civil war in the Star Wars fandom about the Acolyte. Whether or not there's a retcon or not, it might start a war. Because if his character is changed that drastically, if he knows that the Sith were around 100 years before the Phantom Menace, and he didn't tell anybody, and he allows Palpatine to rise to power, it changes everything. It changes everything! I don't know. All I know is...
I got a bad feeling about this.
That's all I know. That's all I know. But let's see what you guys are saying. Maria, what's up? That just means the Jedi were corrupt. It's true. It does. But Yoda in particular, because he's the one who's keeping all the secrets. You know? Chris says, if they have no Sith for 1,000 years, then why would they need... What is the need for the prophecy? Thus, the Jedi knew that the Sith had been around. I think the prophecy of the Chosen One, which is what you're referring to there, has been around for a lot longer than just those 1,000 years. I think the prophecy of the Chosen One has been around for a long, long time. Yes. Holy Raccoon, what's up? The Wizard Cat says, the Bad Batch ended, and now all... Oh, wait. And now all we can feel is a kind of emptiness. It is kind of strange. Since the Bad Batch has ended, it feels weird. It feels like you're not looking forward to something. And I understand it was only probably like 11 weeks or something where we were predicting and watching the Bad Batch, and it was a lot of fun. But the fact of the matter is, the Bad Batch is over. We're not waiting for a season 4. It's over. So those characters will likely, other than maybe Omega, will never be seen again, and that is quite a bummer, I must say. It is. Chris says, maybe the Sith will kill all the Jedi that they see and they don't, so that they can't tell anyone. That is a possibility. But like I said earlier, all the Jedi that we see in the forest with that Sith character are the main characters of this Acolyte show for us. May is the main character. She is the person who's murdering the Jedi, supposedly, possibly a twin, who knows. She is our main character. But our sort of sub-main characters are Master Soul, are Yord, are Daphne Keen's character, Master Indara. Like, those characters are our sub-main characters, and all of those characters, minus Master Indara, but that's because I'm working on a video that will come out tomorrow about how I think Master Indara is going to die in the very first episode. But all of those characters are in the forest with that Sith. So if they all die, the show's over. And the show's already confirmed for a second season. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I guess it kind of could. Yeah. What about Mace Windu's ancient Sith prophecy? What? Mace Windu's ancient Sith prophecy? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. I believe Ki-Adi-Mundi was misled and does not want to admit it. I don't think he knows. That's the thing. If Yoda knows and is keeping secrets, then Ki-Adi-Mundi, he wasn't alive at this time, so he wouldn't know. He's just been told, he's been taught that the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years, meaning the Acolyte's probably going to be the biggest cover-up in Jedi history. Of the Sith are back, but for some reason, we don't want to tell anybody. Why would they not want to tell anybody and then go try to find this Sith Lord? What would be the purpose of doing that? I'm asking you guys because I have no freaking clue. What would be the purpose of doing that? If the Sith come back, if they come into contact with a Sith Lord and Yoda knows about it and the rest of the Jedi Order know about it, why would they keep it a secret? What is the point? Take tens of thousands of Jedi and go hunt them down and kill them. End it. Do it. Just end it. It'd be pretty simple to do. You have tens of thousands of Jedi and only 2 Sith Lords. Go end it. But they don't. Why? Why? I don't know. I don't know. The question is, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. How could I forget? What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? I mean, come on. End the stream there. Why not? I think we're done here. I think we're good. Yep. Perfect. No. No. Don't end the stream. What about the droid attack? Who cares about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Who cares? Who cares?
This is where the fun begins.
This is indeed where the fun begins. Okay, where was I? Damn it, just scroll down to the bottom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I hope he shows up. Okay, so it seems like the majority of you think that we will be seeing Yoda in this Acolyte show as maybe just a cameo, but probably somewhere there. CGI or puppet. I think they would definitely do CGI for Yoda. They did CGI for him in the prequel trilogy. They're probably going to do it for this Acolyte show as well. It wouldn't really make sense to do him as a puppet because they tried in The Phantom Menace and it didn't really go too well. I know they brought him back as a puppet in The Last Jedi, but that's a little bit different. That's a whole Rian Johnson thing. I would say CGI. I would definitely say CGI, for sure. Fearless says, he's old enough to know about the Sith then. At the time, Yoda was young, so he might still know about the Sith. Well, he's not young. He's still 700 years old by the time of the Acolyte show. So he's not young, so to speak. He's still going to be old as hell. He's still going to be old as hell in this Acolyte show. He'll just be a little bit younger than he was in the prequel trilogy. Yeah. what boggles me is that the Sith are supposedly extinct for a millennia. Exactly. That's what's supposed to be happening. And that's what the sort of retcon is here. Keto says, nah, if they did die, they wouldn't show it in the trailer. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This scene being shown in the trailer right here, let's watch it again.
The thread. And change everything. And pull it.
What are you?
I understand that they have to grow the hype for the show, and showing us a creepy-looking masked Sith Lord is cool. But to show us this entire sequence, like in all these different Jedi in this forest with him, clearly they would not all be dying in this show, in this scene, or they wouldn't have shown it in the trailer. That's where I'm at. That's what I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but tell me in the chat. Nick says, ugh, Mike thinking they're not going to die means that they're all going to die. Thanks, Mike. Is that how this works? So when I say that people are going to die, they don't die? And then when I say that they aren't going to die, they do die? Okay, interesting. Interesting. I might have to use that superpower at some point. Chris says, the Phantom Menace, after Ki-Adi-Mundi says that the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years, Yoda turns and looks at Mace with a look on his face that he knows something, maybe the events of the Acolyte. It is possible. Yes, I know exactly the scene you're referring to, and let's actually look it up. Why not? Let's do this. Let's do this. Ki-Adi-Mundi saying the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years. Let's see if we can find this scene really quickly. No, that's his death in Order 66. What the hell? There's some weird edits of this. What is going on? Can't find this scene for some reason. If somebody can find the scene and send it to the Discord, that would be ideal. If you guys are not in the Discord yet, there's a description in the Discord below. I mean, in the Discord below. There's a Discord link in the description below. Go join it. It's a bunch of fun. And if you're not yet a member, join and become a member, because we got a massive giveaway happening on May 30th, the end of the month, which also happens to be my birthday, where we are giving away a Boba Fett helmet. Boom, 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 boom. Not this one specifically, but a Boba Fett helmet nonetheless. So that is the biggest giveaway we've ever done in channel history, and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that. And you got to be a member to get instant access. And it's only 99 cents. So come on. Regardless, I know exactly what you're talking about. In the scene where Ki-Adi-Mundi says the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years, Yoda looks over at Mace and they share a glance. Now, maybe the Acolyte is purely based off of that one scene, in the fact that Yoda knew something in that scene and he was keeping it a secret. It's definitely possible. It is definitely possible. Yeah. I must admit, I'd like to win the helmet. There you go, Ian. There you go. Maybe your time has come. Yeah. To become a member. I hope we see Plagueis. Me too. Me too. DJ, me too. Captain Piet just got promoted to Admiral by Vader, watching Empire Strikes Back in the background. Oh, that's awesome. Are you guys watching other Star Wars content while you're watching me? That's pretty epic, I must say. So you're watching like one of the greatest Star Wars movies ever on one screen, and then one of the greatest Star Wars contents ever on one screen, and then you're watching The Empire Strikes Back on another screen. That's pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. Chris says, I have a problem that it might or might not. It depends on how the show, if the show will be good or awful, Mike. I hope that it's not going to be woke garbage. Me too, obviously. I don't think it will be, which is good. It all depends on whether the show is good or not. And I actually think that there will be a majority of the fandom that really, really enjoys this show. But again, the haters are going to hate, and they're just going to scream louder than the others. So I do agree with you that if the show even is good, there's probably going to be haters who are screaming about it to no end, and they won't be happy with any outcome, for sure. You found the scene in this. Okay. Appreciate you, John Groom. Appreciate you. Where is it? Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Impossible.
All right, here's the scene in question. This is Kiadi Mundi saying, impossible, the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Oh, what? It doesn't show the weird look, though. Hang on.
Impossible.
It doesn't show the look that Yoda and Mace have, though. It's not the full scene. I appreciate it, John, though. I appreciate you trying. Appreciate you trying. I'm just happy we're getting High Republic content. Me too, honestly. The High Republic is an interesting time period. Now, obviously, the Acolyte takes place at the very end of the High Republic, but it is cool to see the Jedi at that time. Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. Mike, did you hear the news about the new Star Wars Skeleton Crew TV show? The crew saying that they want kid lightsabers in space? I don't know what. I did not see that. What are you talking about? Skeleton Crew? I did not see that. Maybe a new big bad look. Wait, maybe a new big bad. Look, Mountain Mama from Tales of the Empire? With all the power out of nowhere? Oh, I get what you're saying. You're saying that this new Sith, mysterious Sith in the forest, might not be a Sith Lord, but might just have some other powers. Like maybe, like Night Sister magic or something along those lines, like you saw in Tales of the Empire with the Mountain Mama. I guess what you're saying now. I figured it out. It could be. It could be, for sure. Can we all agree that the council was poorly functioned? Yes, I can agree with that, but I think you're going to actually have some people not agree with that. The issue that the Acolyte is having is people who grew up on the prequel trilogy like I did, but I'm not having the same issue. Some people who grew up on the prequel trilogy and see it as like this masterpiece, which it is, but they see the Jedi as like they put them up on a pedestal like the Jedi can do no wrong. And for some reason, they can't sort of just see that the Jedi were corrupted and the Jedi were not really what they should have been, for lack of a better word. Like, Anakin was wrong, but he wasn't that wrong. Like, he saw through the lies of the Jedi because the Jedi were lying to him, and the Jedi were corrupted at the time. But people who really put the Jedi Order in the prequel trilogy up on a pedestal are not going to see that, and they're not going to want to see that or hear that either. So I agree that the council during the time of the prequel trilogy was very bad or just poorly operated, I guess. But I think a lot of people are going to struggle to see that the same way. Yeah. John Groom says, from what I know about this show, it isn't going to be to paint the Jedi in a good light, so I can see there being a cover-up. I also think that the Acolyte is operating without the knowledge of the Sith. Interesting. So you think that this masked creature and May, who is our Acolyte character, are both operating without any intervention with the Sith. Interesting. It's definitely a possibility that because the show's called The Acolyte, that maybe the Sith aren't going to be involved and it's just acolytes of the Sith, which technically aren't Sith Lords. That is a possibility, but I actually don't think it's the case. I think at least, yes, May is probably an acolyte of the Sith, but it's probably more likely that this masked creature is more likely an apprentice or a Sith Lord himself. Yeah, for sure. Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Bumper. We got 40 people in here. Can I get 40 separate? Don't spam it. 40 separate good cups follow orders in the chat, please. Okay. Tony says, Yoda, failed I have. That would be tragic. Fearless says, Yoda definitely has some secrets. That's why we got Grogu now. Probably hatched an egg without anyone knowing it. Yeah. Yoda definitely kept some secrets for sure. And one of them is probably Grogu. But the guy's been around for 800 years with the Jedi Order. he probably knows some pretty dirty stuff that not everybody knows about. Yeah. That's for sure. Jacob says, just when I think it's over, the Bad Batch gets brought up again and I get sad. I know, yeah. It's kind of a happy sad though, you know? Like it's happy, sad it's over, but happy it happened type deal, you know? Mando United says, Yoda knew, but I think he kept it hidden as he thought he would sense if they were getting too powerful again. So you're saying Yoda was just okay with the Sith hanging out and he thought that he would know when they would gain power? He has all of the resources in the galaxy at his disposal, being that there are tens of thousands of Jedi at the time. Why would they not just go hunt down this Sith? I'm sure if they looked hard enough, they could find it. Obviously, the galaxy's big, but they got a lot of Jedi out there and a lot of people who could help. Yeah. Is it confirmed for a second season? Where did that leak from? I believe it is confirmed for a second season. Now, don't quote me on that because I don't know if Lucasfilm themselves said that. Actually, let's just look it up. Why not? Let's look it up. The Acolyte Season 2. Let's see. Will there be an Acolyte Season 2? Oh, well, no, that's not what we wanted. Here we go. Oh, let's read this. This is literally from 5 hours ago. Perfect. This is from 5 hours ago. Let's read this. The Acolyte Season 2 teased by Star Wars producer almost 3 weeks before the Season 1 release. This was literally 5 hours ago published. Crazy. 3 weeks ahead of Star Wars' newest TV show, The Acolyte, one producer has already teased a Season 2. The Acolyte is set 100 years before the prequel trilogy in the Star Wars timeline, making it the current earliest project among Star Wars movies and TV shows. The reason it says current here is because in the works right now is a Dawn of the Jedi movie by James Mangold, and that would be a lot earlier. Updates on The Acolyte have been rolling in leading up to the show's June 4th, 2024 release date, but producer Rain Roberts may have just signaled that even before Season 1's premiere, Season 2 is underway. In an interview with SFX magazine, Star Wars producer Rain Roberts indicated that Season 2 of The Acolyte could already be in the works, indicating that possible story ideas for the potential second season are already being passed around. Roberts said this. We got to get back into the writer's room for Season 2. To see where we're at. We have some initial thoughts about what we want to do, but in terms of where the story will ultimately wrap up, that hasn't been quite nailed down yet. Now, we were speculating about the fact that this show could end with a possible young Palpatine, as we are 100 years before The Phantom Menace, but it could sort of jump all the way to maybe 50 or 40 years before The Phantom Menace, and we get to see a young version of Palpatine. But, I mean, what is the title of this? Season 2 teased? I believe it's outright said here. As she says, or he says, Rain? Would Rain be a, I don't even know. Regardless, they say Season 2. We got to get back into the writer's room for Season 2. This, I mean, to me, this all but confirms it. Cole says they don't have a plan for where the show ends. That scares me a little bit. Well, not really. They do say in terms of where the story will ultimately wrap up, they haven't nailed that down yet, but they do have some sort of outline for where the show will go. Yeah. Don't worry about it, John Groom. I know, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it either. I don't know. Weird. Some scenes like that just aren't on YouTube for some reason. I don't get it. But regardless, this doesn't worry me too much. Yes, we just came off the Bad Batch that had a spectacular ending, and they had that ending planned from the beginning. They have a loosely based ending for this show. They just haven't nailed it down yet. Yeah. So although Season 1 of The Acolyte won't premiere for another few weeks, and its reception is yet to be revealed, this development is very exciting, both the upcoming show and the larger Star Wars franchise. So it seems that season 1 could be ending with a lot of different possibilities. We got some cool screenshots here. Like, we get a lot in the trailer about, like, this forest scene, them being in the Jedi Temple, even Venestra Row, and we get Master Soul. But what's interesting to me is this Wookiee Jedi. What's his name again? Somebody in the chat help me out. What was his name? Like, he's only in a few of these shots and a few very small snippets of the trailers, but he seems to be playing a pretty big role. Yeah. Kelnaka. Yes, Kelnaka. Master I don't even know if he's a master. Jedi Kelnaka. He's a Wookiee Jedi. I think he might play a pretty big role, and I really don't know. He's not in much of the trailers, which is interesting. Okay, so she says something else over here, too. Oh, here we go. In the same interview where Rain Roberts highlighted thoughts on a season 2, Simon Emanuel, another Star Wars producer, revealed that The Acolyte will have a clear ending for season 1, but will also have room for the show to continue. We want to make sure this season has an ending. Okay. But you always want to leave the door open. We've talked about where the story could go, and Leslie has so many ideas. And like anything, if something's successful, you can bet you'll find other stories within. So, from this quote from Simon, it seems more likely that the second season is dependent upon how successful the first season is. And that's usually how it works. That's what happened with the Ahsoka show. And that's what happens with most shows in general. I think that's what happened with Mando too. It makes sense. If your show is a bomb, if it sucks or if it's not good at all, then it's probably the case that you're not going to get a second season. But if it's successful, then it will. What's interesting to me about this quote is that they do have an ending. However, it leaves the door open. So maybe that ending is possible death of a certain character or a possible closure moment for certain characters, but it leaves the door open because, let's say our main character or the Acolyte, May, dies. Maybe they leave the door open by showing us, at least the audience, not the Jedi, that Plagueis is still around or Tenebrous is still around in the background. And that leaves the door open for many possibilities, possibly seeing a young Palpatine or getting to see Plagueis get another apprentice who he sends out against the Jedi. It's definitely possible. Yeah, there's endless possibilities, for sure. Yeah. And that's the last quote, I guess, and then it just goes on to say, like, the first season's coming up. Cool. That's pretty cool. That clears some things up, I guess. Yeah. So technically, to answer your question, no, season 2 has not been confirmed, but I think it's likely. It's in the works, but it's not. Like, obviously, the success of the show will depend on whether or not it gets the second season. Yeah. In defense of Yoda, I think he would only do something because he thought it was right. The truth is always the force of good. That's true. I think Yoda would hide this information from the Jedi because he thought it was right. Absolutely. But why would he think that that's the right thing to do? That's what I can't wrap my head around. Why would he think that this is the right thing to do? Hiding the Sith's return from the Jedi? That doesn't seem very right, you know? Oh, Rose with a very, very, very generous $5 holla. God damn! Says, who are the gallery of dark-robed figures on Exegol in The Rise of Skywalker? If there was a rule of 2, who were they? RETCON? Also, please do an impression of Chewbacca. Oh, no. I appreciate the $5 very, very much. You know I do, and I will do impressions for Super Chats. If you guys don't know, I will do impressions for Super Chats. So I will be doing your Chewbacca impression. It will be horrible. I can guarantee it. But to answer your question, who are the robed figures on Exegol in Rise of Skywalker? Those are Sith cultists. So those are, they don't have any Force abilities, and they are not Sith themselves, but they worship the way of the Sith. So similar to, like, I'm blanking on his name, but the blind dude from Rogue One. He worships the Force. He worships, yeah, I guess just the Force. He's one with the Force and the Force is with me. Like the same way that he is like that, these Sith cultists on Exegol worship the Sith. So they don't use the Force, obviously. They're not dark side users. It doesn't retcon the rule of two. No. They just worship the Sith. And they're kind of what helps bring Palpatine back to life, or actually keep Palpatine alive as well. Yeah, true. True. And Chewbacca impression, okay. I'm not really good at Chewbacca impressions. Hang on.
This is where the fun begins.
This is gonna be tough. I have a very bad one. Let's. If you're ready for the Cole's, yeah. Okay.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Oh my God. I think that was. Was that good? Was that sufficient enough for your funds, Rose? Was that good? Was that good? That like hurt my vocal cords. That was like, whew, that was something. I always imagine somebody who just clicked on the stream. They're like, what is this channel? A guy who loves Star Wars? Oh, we're talking about a retcon in the prequel trilogy? What is this? Click on it and it's just me going, ah! It's the first thing they see. Like the first thing they see ever when it comes to this channel is me sitting here, ah! It's great. It's great. That's the best part. Like somebody clicks on it and the first thing they see is just me doing a Wookiee impression. Damn. That was great. That was actually, I surprised myself on that one. I really committed and surprised myself. Yeah. I really surprised myself on that one. I appreciate it, Rose. I appreciate it so much. I really, really do. I really, really do. Yeah. All right. Where was I? Anthony, what's up? Anthony says, hi, Mike. Sorry I'm late. Don't worry about it, of course. I voted on your question because I certainly hope not is not a choice. But if the Acolyte does alter the concepts of the prequel trilogy, that's going to rub me the wrong way. And Anthony, I think you're not the only one. I think it will rub a lot of people the wrong way as well. It's how they go about it. It's how big of a retcon this truly could be. Yeah. Yeah. That's the biggest issue. Cole Rita says, we're definitely missing some pieces to the puzzle. Oh, absolutely, we're missing some pieces to the puzzle. But that's the cool part, is we're sitting here predicting what could happen in the Acolyte. We got a few weeks until the Acolyte show comes out, so obviously this is not the last time we'll be predicting what's going down in the Acolyte. But that's the fun part about it. The funnest part about having this channel and just having you guys as a community and just talking about Star Wars in general is the speculating. For me, it's the speculating. And yes, we're wrong like almost all the time, but it's just the fun part about it. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, you guys like that impression? That's the best impression yet? Oh my God. Wow. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Can't wait. Just wait till June 4th. I can't wait till June 4th. That's the thing. Kyle says, I care. Well, thanks, Kyle. Doesn't quite line up. Ian says, I think the Wookiees are a bit irritated by the droid attack. Oh, you think? You think? You might think. This may be the last time I ever bring her up. But the best part about not having the Bad Batch ever again, as sad as it may be, is never seeing Sid again. I'm hoping that's the last time I ever bring up her name. Yes. You should do Q&As. Q&As? Like, what do you mean? Q&A vids? Q&As is a good idea. Like Q&As on streams? I know a lot of other channels do Q&As like Super Chat. You Super Chat in a question and then you do Q&As at the end. Obviously, we don't get enough Super Chats to do that, but maybe someday. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. Yeah. We should see Darth Jar Jar. Darth Jar Jar is coming, just in Lego form. Yeah. The Jedi Council removed Sifo Dyas from the Council because of his predictions of the events that led to the Clone Wars. Therefore, they are not above keeping secrets. I think the deal with Sifo Dyas was he had visions of an upcoming war. And the Jedi at the time were like, what are you talking about, buddy? There's no war going on right now. And they didn't see what he saw. Yes, the Jedi were dumb to not at least look into it a little bit or maybe believe him a little bit. And the way they went about it was dumb, obviously. So yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. They were dumb, and they were wrong, and they were keeping secrets. True. Hey, Mike, do you think we'll ever get a Darth Plagueis movie or TV series in Star Wars? I don't know if it'll be directly Darth Plagueis, like titled The Darth Plagueis Show or something like that, but maybe. I mean, I'd love to see a young Palpatine show that involves Plagueis, for sure. But it could end up being that the Acolyte might be the Plagueis show. I mean, I would be totally down for it if he's the Sith behind the curtain. Yeah. Cole says, I don't think they'll fully retcon what Yoda said. Everything that they've done in any show that could have built canon up, not break them down. Everything they've ever done with any show that has been to build canon up and not break it down. Yeah, I'm not saying that the Acolyte is purely being created to retcon the prequel trilogy. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the Jedi of the prequel trilogy are extremely corrupt and not what the Jedi are supposed to be. They're not the Jedi of the High Republic, that's for sure. They allow Palpatine to rise to power, and they allow the Chosen One to slip out of their hands. And I think a lot of issues that the fandom is going to have, or at least a certain portion of the fandom is going to have, is the connection to The Last Jedi. This is almost the exact same thing that Luke says to Rey in The Last Jedi, and a lot of people aren't a fan of it. I wasn't either. The Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi is not my favorite, to say the least. But what he says to Rey is that the Jedi Order, at their peak, or at their peak in power, allowed Palpatine to rise to power in the Senate and take over the entire galaxy. And he's right. And that's what the Acolyte might be building upon, which might be an issue for some fans. Yeah. Do I think that May will die? Maybe. If they're twins, then the dark side one will probably die. But if they're just one character, if May is just one May, then I would say probably. Does that mean she's going to live now? I don't know. We'll see. Yes, Mike, Yoda was alive 700 years prior to the Acolyte. At the time of the Jedi, he still might know about the Sith. He's obviously heard about the Sith. But the Jedi Order, how do they know about the Rule of Two if the Sith kind of go into hiding when the Rule of Two gets put into place? That's the biggest question. Yeah. Old people forget things, Mike? Maybe referring to Yoda being old as hell? I guess. Yoda forgets things. If you want to use that cop-out, I guess. But I think Yoda's better than that. Anthony says, Mike, I expect we will see Master Yoda in 2 cameos in The Acolyte. Now, I wonder what the role of Master Yaddle will play in this in the action. Well, that's another question. I do think that Yoda will make a cameo appearance, for lack of a better word. But do you guys think that, like, because there's certain other characters that could be in The Acolyte that are old enough to be in it. And that is Plo Koon, that is Yaddle, Uriel Poof, and I believe there's one other. Somebody in the chat help me out. But regardless, there are some other characters that could be alive at the time, like Master Yaddle. Do you guys think that we could see those characters in the Acolyte show? What do we think? What if we get a scene? Now let me paint the picture for you, okay? Rose petals everywhere. Candle lights. Yaddle there. Yoda there. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Maybe Yaddle's pregnant for 100 years. Or no. Maybe Yaddle's pregnant for 90 years. And then, boom, there comes Grogu. Would you guys want to see that on the screen? Oh, no. Oh, no. What have I done? What have I done?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Maybe the Bendu? Ooh, Bendu would be crazy. I doubt the Bendu would be involved in this show because the Bendu was supposed to kind of remain hidden and was always hidden. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Oppo. Oppo was alive, yes. He was technically, should be alive, yeah. Is even Peel alive at this time? Who? I love the Bendu. The Bendu is great. I hope the Bendu comes into play at some point. Like, I don't know where they could involve the Bendu. Yeah, I don't know how they would do that, but it would be cool to see him. It would be cool to see him. Yeah. I can't wait to see the Acolyte. Me too. Abby, what's up? Don't worry about it. Cole says, one thing to keep in mind is Star Wars never shows anything beyond a third or fourth episode in the trailer. Something to keep an eye on. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. They never do. So it's possible that all this scenes with this Sith Lord, what looks to be Octu, this possible fight between 8 Jedi and this Sith in the forest, all that could happen in the first 3 or 4 episodes, which is kind of crazy because that would make for quite the back half of a season, if I do say so myself. Yeah. Ian said, I must admit, I want to win your helmet. Well, you got to become a member. Sir Gungi says, sometimes, by the way, we're up to 52 members, I think. 52, something like that. Sometimes the trailers do show off more than the first couple episodes. The Ahsoka trailer showed Thrawn, which was from the final episode. So who knows what the footage from the trailer is. That's true. They did show Thrawn walking onto the ship. But that was like a very brief scene just to establish that Thrawn was in the show. That is true. That is true. Erica, what's up? How we doing? So maybe some of these scenes are from later episodes, but I would predict that the majority of the scenes are from the first couple episodes. Now, there's a lot of flashback sequences in these trailers for The Acolyte, where we see a young Master Soul meeting a young May with the witches, and then the witches' place being blown up. Like, all that probably happens in the first couple episodes because it's flashbacks and stuff like that. Yeah. I did it, Mike. The clip is in the spoiler zone. Okay. Well, let's see. Oh, you just... Okay. Let's see if I can... Oh.
Possible.
Oh.
The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Oh, here we go. This is actually perfect. You should take a video of it, John. That's great. So this is the weird look that Yoda gives Mace Windu after Ki-Adi-Mundi says that the Sith have been gone for a millennium.
Possible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
I do not believe.
Damn, he's hiding something. You can't watch that and say this guy is not hiding something. He's like... It's like, what did he say? Let's watch it all the way through. Hang on.
I do not believe the Sith could have returned without us knowing.
Oh my God. All right, now I'm fully convinced that Yoda knows, and Mace might even know too. Mace might even know too. Do you see that look he just gave him?
Without us knowing.
He literally looks at Yoda and goes, I'm pretty sure the Sith wouldn't return without us knowing. Right, Yoda? Right, Yoda? Right. He's literally straight up just winking at the guy like, yo, we can keep this secret from everybody. Right, Yoda? Right? Let's watch it again.
The Sith could have returned without us knowing.
Hard to see the dark side is.
And Yoda's like, yeah, hard to see the dark side is. I'm going to talk in my normal, stupid voice, and you won't even understand what I'm trying to say.
We will use all our resources to unravel this mystery. We will discover the identity of your attacker.
And that, they did not. No, they did not. Wow. I mean, if that doesn't show you anything, I mean, that does not look good. I think that this is the Acolyte. I mean, they are up to something. Okay, I go back to the first image that I put up on the screen at the beginning of this whole live stream an hour ago. They're up to something. They are up to something. Yoda knows something. Mace Windu knows something. They're not telling the Jedi Order, and it is quite the secret. Maybe that there was Sith around 100 years ago. Or maybe they're hiding something even worse. So honestly, this would mean that the Acolyte would not be retconning anything. The only thing it would be retconning, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't really be retconning anything. It would just be proving that there is a secret that Yoda knows that nobody else does. I don't think Windu knows anything. I think Yoda might have told Windu stuff, because Windu's supposed to be like a high-ranking dude. And just the look that he gives Yoda, he's like, I know. I don't know. It's definitely suspicious, to say the least. Yeah. Yeah. Fearless says, now there's the Battle of Hoth. Lots of AT-ATs? What? Oh, you're watching Empire Strikes Back. I forgot. Nice. Nice. Might have to go watch Empire Strikes Back afterwards now. Me too. The High Republic is very interesting to me. It is to me too. I'm excited to go into this era. Even though it's the end of the era, I'm excited to go there with this show. Anthony says, Mike, here's the thing. Headland could have simply asked George Lucas if there was anything to the looks between Yoda and Mace Windu that could have resolved this question. That's true, but like this movie's 25 years old. If George Lucas did do that on purpose, have Yoda and Mace Windu share that weird-ass look after Ki-Adi-Mundi was like, yeah, the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years. And they're like, yep, sure they have. Oh, yeah. Yep, you're 100% correct. If that was the case 25 years ago when George Lucas wrote the script and created the movie, I'm sure he's keeping that secret as well. And honestly, if that's the case, I'm guessing Leslie Headland does know. I'm sure Dave Filoni knows. I don't know. I think we might be onto something here. And by the way, this poll still with almost 75 vote or with 74 votes is about 57% of you say no, it won't retcon the prequels, and that means 43% say it will, which is fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah. You can see in the prequels they are corrupted. It's true. So maybe it's not retconning anything. It's just showing certain fans that don't want to believe it that it's the truth, that the Jedi are corrupt and that Yoda is keeping a secret. And maybe Mace Windu knows as well in that sequence. It's a possibility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 good cups follow orders. How can you beat that? Maybe 16. Anthony says, to be honest, I wouldn't greenlight a second season of the series until, that isn't having a great pre-release. Well, yes and no, because the pre-release isn't going great because Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans and they like to fight about stuff. But it's not having a great pre-release because of the Leslie Headland of it all. If the show is good, or if it's great, or if it's freaking a masterpiece, you can't deny how good the show is. You can get rid of Leslie Headland for season 2 if you want, but regardless, the show is good if it's good. And plain and simple, if it's good, it's good. There's no denying that. So, if it's good, then it's probably going to get a second season. Now, greenlighting it before the first season releases is probably a dumb idea, like they did with Ahsoka, or they didn't do with Ahsoka, I should say. They waited till it was over and then they greenlit a second season. That's probably what they're doing here, but I would not be surprised if you heard that The Acolyte will have a second season. Just the time period it takes place in and all these new characters, interesting characters that people are going to fall in love with, or I hope they fall in love with. I think there'll definitely be a second season because you won't want to just be one and done with all these characters. There's some amazing actors giving some amazing performances in this show. Yeah. I think if they want to jump between times, then that would make sense, I guess. Well, they're doing flashback sequences in this show, for sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll crack up if the series doesn't even mention the legacy of Bur Yaga. Well, yeah, Bur Yaga was the Wookiee Jedi from the High Republic novels. I'm sure you'll get some references or Easter eggs, so to speak, to the High Republic books. Now, if you haven't read those, you probably won't be missing out on much. But if you have read them, then you'll like be in the know and see all. It's the same as like watching Ahsoka. If you haven't watched Rebels before, you'll be like, who the hell are these characters? And you'll just have to kind of learn as you go. But if you've watched Rebels before, then everything in the Ahsoka show is so cool. I think the Acolyte will be the same way with the High Republic books. Yeah. Give me a 1 into the chat if you've read any of the High Republic books. Any of them. Give me a 2 if you're like, no, I haven't read a single one. What do we think? Have you read any of the High Republic books? I've read all of Phase 1, all of it. Like the main 3 novels and then the sub novels in the comics as well. Oh, wow. You got, whoa. That's a lot more ones than I thought. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the High Republic books, they don't do too well sales-wise, but the story is good. I've read all of Phase 1, and the story is quite intriguing, I must say. Again, very muchly appreciate Rose's very generous $5 holla. I hope the Acolyte doesn't end on a cliffhanger. I'm sure it will, to an extent. Like, I think there'll be closure for a lot of the characters and a lot of the story that we get in the first season. But I think the cliffhanger that we might end on is seeing, like, Plagueis or Tenebris as the audience sees it, not the Jedi seeing him. Yeah. Yeah. Where was I? Oh, do you think that we will see Darth Plagueis in the Acolyte show? Again, I don't know for sure, but I hope so. I would say I'm 50-50, but I'm hoping more than not. Yeah. Sid was not in the 3rd season. True, she was not. But since the 3rd season's over and the show is over, I won't ever have to see her face again. Yeah. Anthony says, oh, Mike, I think once the Hidden Path show comes in, lightsabers crossed, that's funny, we may see an appearance of Sid. Maybe she'll be somewhat more resourceful person helping out now. No, leave her out of it. Leave her as the villain. Leave her as the villain. Do you think that Luke Skywalker with the green lightsaber in the Lego trailer with Darth Jar Jar, Mike? Oh, do I think that was? No, that was Jedi Bob, I believe, right? In that Lego Star Wars trailer? Yeah. Yeah. The Darth Plagueis show sounds like a deranged variety show. What? I want the Dawn of the Jedi movie, and I want the Old Republic as a TV show. I want to go to the Old Republic, but I want to do it correctly. I want to see the Old Republic play out in like a saga, like 9-episode, 3-trilogy saga, with Darth Revan being the main character, but you also have other stories throughout. And the Old Republic is so long of a time period that you can have like more than 3 trilogies, honestly, but you can have a ton of spin-off shows, animated and live action shows. I want it all. I want a Bane trilogy, Revan trilogy. I want it all. I want it all. But I want them to do it right. That's the problem. I don't want them to rush anything. Yeah. I definitely want the Bendu to play a role in the Mandoverse, considering the supernatural power that they are clashing with at the time period. Maybe. I wouldn't just mind his appearance. He doesn't have to do anything. I just want to see him. Yeah. And seeing him in live action would be awesome. Would be awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we do have a few other pieces of news to get to here. They're smaller pieces, so we don't really have to rush to them right away, but just wanted to keep that in mind and don't let me forget. Yeah. David, what's up? David says, I hope The Acolyte lives up to the legacy of the prequel trilogy, and the prequels are high-quality films and have a lot of budget, and The Acolyte also needs to be polished and well-written as well. I agree. I hope that The Acolyte lives up and is a great extension to the prequel trilogy. Being the first ever live-action show or movie to be before the prequels, it has a lot to live up to. And from the looks of it, from the looks of the show itself, from the trailer, visually, action-wise, like, it looks great. Special effects-wise, puppet-wise, whatever you want to call it, like, everything looks fantastic. I hope it pulls it all together in the end, and the story is just as good. Yeah, I agree. I do think that the Jedi were expecting the Sith to return in large numbers in an army, like Dooku said 10 years later. What? Oh, you're saying like Dooku said to Obi-Wan? I don't know. I don't think that, like, the Jedi weren't expecting a massive army of Sith to come, because they would have sensed that. Hopefully. I'd like to think. I love that there's new Star Wars content, but I'm a bit overwhelmed with all the High Republic characters. There's just so many of them. Yeah, the High Republic is a lot to get into. A lot of characters. I mean, it's a brand new cast of Jedi, brand new cast of villains, brand new cast of everybody. It's a lot, but it's good. It is good. Yeah. Fearless says, looks to Mike... Wait, what? Looks to Mike the Jedi? Looks to me that the Jedi did nothing to do something about the threat of the dark side. They just sat there and waited until it was too late. Yeah, kind of. Even when even when Darth Maul shows up in The Phantom Menace, they don't really do much to stop it. Stop any of it. They know that the Sith are probably back. Whoa. But they don't really do much about it. They don't do much about it at all. So, yeah, that's tough. Yeah. Rose says, I want to hear George Lucas weigh in on the Yoda and Master Windu look. Me too. Should we call him up? Should we just call up George? Should we just do it? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he'll probably say anything about it. West LaPierre, what's up, Wes, says, so a look they gave each other is more valid than the words Ki-Adi-Mundi actually said? Well, that's the thing. Ki-Adi-Mundi says that the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years, but Yoda was actually there. That's the difference. Yoda was there during the events of the Acolyte. Ki-Adi-Mundi was not. There's the biggest difference. So we take what Yoda says as what Yoda does as way more important because he was there. Ki-Adi-Mundi was not. Ki-Adi-Mundi was just taught by the Jedi Order that the Sith haven't been around for a millennia. But Yoda was actually there. So he might know some stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, just go down to the bottom. Are you kidding me? Oh, there we go. Never mind. We're good. We're good. John says, I'm almost done with phase 1 of the High Republic books. I'm on Midnight Horizon right now. Midnight Horizon. What happens in that one? Oh, is that the last one of the books? That one's actually really good. Yeah. And the ending's pretty good too. Yeah. So many Sith. Wait, how many Sith do you think that we will see in the Acolyte? I mean, maybe none. And they explain that these are not the Sith and they're just some dark side wielding, red lightsaber wielding people. But I'm hoping at least Darth Plagueis. So 1. I'm hoping 1. And if this masked Sith Lord, or masked mysterious character is a Sith Lord, then 2. Yeah. I'm not expecting like 10 or anything, but I'm hoping a few. West says, those old Republic trailers are so badass, but barely any dialogue. Yeah, true. The old Republic cinematics, they're amazing. They're absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. And that's what I hope the old Republic is going to look like when it does come time to make those shows and movies. Yeah, they got a lot to live up to, for sure. John Groom says, I do think that the Acolyte will be a part of the Sith Order. Remember, if Yoda makes the deal with Tenebris to get rid of the Acolyte? Wait, what? Imagine if Yoda does a deal with Tenebris. if Yoda makes a deal with the Sith, that would change everything. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's more likely that he covers it up for one reason or another, but making a deal with the Sith would be insane. Yeah, I don't think so. If he makes a deal with the Sith to keep the Sith in hiding, but they get rid of the acolytes who are trying to fight, oh, that would be insane. That would be too much. No, that would be way too crazy. Whoa, what the heck? Boba Fett is an OG? Yeah, he is. I need a list of books that would tie into this time period, please. Well, there's... The cool part about the Acolyte is that this is a time period where there is pretty much nothing. So there really isn't much. The High Republic books take place all before the Acolyte show, and then all like the Dooku Jedi Lost stuff, like that stuff takes place after, in the time of the prequel trilogy. So there's not much in this time period that you have to catch up on. There's no mandatory reading or watching to watch the Acolyte. That's what's kind of cool about it too. Yeah. Yeah. Can we please get a 2-hour animated cinematic Star Wars feature film taking place in any time period? No. Not from Lucasfilm, I'm sure, but I'm sure there's probably some good fan-made ones. Wes says Disney did plant the idea in Ahsoka that there can be non-Jedi that aren't Sith either. That's true. You got Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. The difference is they wield an orange lightsaber, which I guess they could still technically wield a red lightsaber, and it wouldn't really make a difference. But yes, that is true. They did plant that idea in the Ahsoka series that there can be dark side users that are not Sith Lords. That is true. That's a good point, too. That is true. No way. I just saw this on Twitter. Bryce Dallas Howard is coming to Fan Expo Boston. That's wild. I am going to Fan Expo Boston. If any of you guys are going, I doubt any of you are. But if you are, that's pretty cool. I'll be there. This happens in June in Boston. It's like a bunch of amazing, cool people. I think, well, obviously Bryce Dallas Howard's going to be there. For Star Wars, I believe Cameron Monaghan, Cal Kestis will be there. Rosario Dawson will be there. Ezra Bridgers, Iman Esfandi will be there. There are other people. I just am blanking on them. There are other people. I am blanking on them. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully, let's see. Yeah, Rosario Dawson. I want Star Wars people. Where are we at? Oh, no way. Mads Mikkelsen, who plays Galen Erso, will be there too. All right, regardless, let's get back on track here. I got distracted. Tamara Morrison. I don't know if Tamara Morrison's going or is going to be there. I'll double check and put it in the Discord after the stream. Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen, Rosario Dawson, Ezra Bridgers, Iman Esfandi. Oh, Ashley Eckstein. Interesting. Wait, what? Let's see. Let's see if we can find a guest list here. Just really quickly. Let's see. Here we go. Wow, it's only in 28 days, so it's in mid-June. All right, let's see. Guests. All guests. All guests. Okay. Oh, Tamara Morrison will be there. That's pretty awesome. So Tamara Morrison will be there. Rosario Dawson, like I said, Matt Mikkelsen, Cameron Monaghan. Ooh, Diana Lee Insanto, the lady who plays Morgan Elsbeth, will also be there. Pretty wild. Ashley Eckstein. D. Bradley Baker will be there, the voice of all the Bad Batch and obviously all the clones in the Clone Wars. That's pretty wild. So that's a lot of people, and I'm sure there's probably more on the way. That's pretty awesome. Soul, what's up, Soul? It's been a while. How we doing? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. T. Bradley Baker's going to the one in Canada. He's going to this one too. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty wild. Yeah, it's a pretty loaded lineup, if I do say so myself. I'm excited to meet all of them. I'm excited. Stingray, what's up, Stingray? Says D. Bradley Baker will be in Toronto Fan Expo. That's awesome. That is awesome. And this poll is still at about 56 to 44, which is crazy. Crazy. All right, let's move on to some of the other news before we get on out of here. Let's talk about some of the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace type stuff here, okay? So this is a 25th anniversary John Knoll breaking down 3 iconic visual effects from the Phantom Menace. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is how important the Phantom Menace was to all movies that are created today. Like the Phantom Menace, George Lucas's big thing, especially with the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, was creating new technology to further develop creating films. The original trilogy created all new cameras to capture all those shots. He did a bunch of brand new stuff that had never been done before in films. But when it came to the prequel trilogy, he went above and beyond. Green screens out the wazoo, creating Jar Jar Binks, the first ever fully CGI character to be a main character in a movie, which leads to characters like that we know today, like Thanos and all these fully CGI characters. The Hulk, or like just some very big time characters. But the Phantom Menace was sort of the beginning of all of that. And this article, we're not going to read the whole thing here, but it gives us some cool behind-the-scenes looks at the Phantom Menace, and it actually gives us some pretty cool information. So this is the 25th anniversary thing, where you got Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan there, which is pretty cool. But here's some pretty cool stuff here. So this is a behind-the-scenes look at the pod race. These are obviously the smaller models made for the pod race, which is pretty cool. The pod race is one of the 3 cool special effects things. I was watching a video about how they created the sounds for the special effects, which are pretty damn wild. Ben Solo's trending on Twitter right now. Why? Why is he doing that? This is obviously some of the set made out of clay and stuff made out of the sets there. This is pretty cool. Creating all that. But creating C-3PO was crazy tough, because 3PO in the original trilogy is a guy inside the suit. It's Anthony Daniels inside the suit. In the prequel trilogy, you couldn't do that because he was full of wires and didn't have any mask on. But when you look at this, he's got a guy in all green behind him controlling his movements, which is pretty awesome. So that's C-3PO. Go away. How do I get out of this? No! Why can't I? What's going on here? Escape. I did it. Then you got a bunch of people doing it. Look at all the blue screen, though. Like, this is in Anakin's house. This is all blue screen and stuff. This is wild. This is in Anakin's house, too. Now it's an all black guy behind him so that they can edit him out later. And then there's Naboo, Theed, which is the capital of Naboo. Creating this in miniature scale was absolutely insane. The behind-the-scenes stuff is so cool. Like this, like look at all, like these are life-size people. This is a massive creation for Naboo. Like that's a human man right there. This is huge. Imagine how many man-hours went into making this one scene. Now you do see this city a lot in The Phantom Menace, but it's crazy. That's a closer look at it. And then that's just sort of the end there. And this guy went on to work on like countless other things. But after The Phantom Menace, Knoll went on to work on the rest of the prequel trilogy, as well as a blockbuster raging Pirates of the Caribbean and films like Avatar, which is, of course, crazy when it comes to CGI. So that's just the behind-the-scenes stuff for The Phantom Menace, which is pretty cool to look at. But we did have some other news here, which I thought was fascinating, to say the least. And that is... And that is Oreos. So these are Oreos. Star Wars is making a Oreo collab where you can get Oreos with bad guys that have red filling in it and good guys with blue filling in it. You got Darth Vader, you got Darth Maul. Let's actually open this full screen here. Look at this. You got Darth Vader, you got Darth Maul, you got Darth Sidious, you got Kylo Ren, you got Luke Skywalker, you got Han Solo, Leia, Jabba the Hutt. How can you not eat Oreos with Jabba the Hutt on it? Come on. You got a Stormtrooper, you got Boba Fett, you got Grievous, you got Dooku, you got a Scout Trooper, you got Chewbacca, you got R2-D2, you got C-3PO, you got Windu, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Rey. Which is interesting to me because they had characters, all main characters that are good guys, and then you have like a Stormtrooper and a Scout Trooper on this side, when you could have had some other villains that are way more prominent, if you ask me. But I will definitely be buying some of these. They go out for pre-order on May 30th, which just happens to be my birthday, but they don't come out in stores until June 10th. Get some looks at them here, which is pretty wild. So yeah, that's that. That's the news with the Oreos, I guess. That's pretty much it. So, hang on. Is there any other Star Wars news that we wanted to get into? Did I get over everything? Yoda and the Acolyte. We talked about, of course, the RETCON for a while. Oh, yes. I wanted to go over the community tab poll that I put up the other day. So, let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys here. Okay, what's up? Okay. Which would you want to become if you were in the Star Wars galaxy? Okay? Your 4 options are this: a Sith Lord, a Jedi, a smuggler, and a bounty hunter. Of those 4 occupations, so to speak, in the Star Wars galaxy, which would you prefer? Which would you prefer? Jedi, Sith, bounty hunter, or smuggler? What's up, Dominic? How we doing? Jedi. I feel like a lot of you are going to say Jedi. Sith, fearless. God damn, Sith. Damn. Jedi for sure. Nice. Faux show. A rebellious Jedi, bounty hunter, smuggler. Nice. General Grievous in the house. What's up? See, I probably would pick Jedi too. It kind of depends on what time period in the timeline you're talking. But, yeah. Gonk Clips, what's up, Gonk, says, do you have any video subjects I could make a video about? Nice to hear some ideas. It's a clips channel? Well, if you want to find a good clip, find the clip of Kiadi Mundi saying that the Sith haven't been around for 1,000 years, and then showing Yoda's reaction to that. Jedi, Sith, Jedi. Okay, I put up a community tab on the channel here, as I've been doing a lot more frequently, and I know you guys like it, so I like to do it more. But let's take a look at this. The poll was a surprise to be sure. I don't even know if it was a welcome one. With over 13,000 votes. 13,000! Absolutely insane. Jedi is definitely in the lead. So the question asked was, which would you become, or would you choose to become, if you lived in the Star Wars galaxy? Jedi is in the lead with 63%. But second place is Sith with almost 20%, 19%. Third place is Bounty Hunter with 12%, and 6% or fourth place is Smuggler. Meaning 20% of 13,000, which is a lot of people, would want to be a Sith Lord in the Star Wars galaxy. Is that not like crazy to you guys? Is that not crazy to you? Being a bounty hunter, it seems you could do whatever you want and just make money. That's true. Jedi have a lot of responsibility. True as well. But isn't this like 20% of people want to just be evil and kill people? Is that what's going on here? Why would people be choosing Sith Lord? I get Sith look cool. They get the red lightsabers, but they are evil and kill people on the regular. What's going on here? Should we be concerned about the 20% of people who voted for this? And Fearless, who said Sith in the chat. Darkseid has cookies. Oh, they got cookies. That makes sense. Darth Lopez in the house. What's up, Darth Lopez?
Hello there.
It's been a while. Sith for life. Interesting. I don't know. That poll just kind of surprised me. I didn't think that was the way it was going to go. Actually, I put up another poll for Mother's Day, and this was surprising to me too, with over 13,000 votes. It says, who is your favorite Star Wars mom? And it said Happy Mother's Day. And a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one, I guess, was Padme Amidala, 61%. Now, Shmi Skywalker was in second with 17%, and then Leia was 15%, and Other was 7%. Padme as a mom? Like, who's the best mom in the Star Wars galaxy? She dies immediately. She dies as soon as she has the kids. As soon as she has the kids. What? What? How does that even make sense? If I were to vote, I would have voted other, and it probably would have been Hera Syndulla, or maybe any of these other ones. You got Andor's mom right there, Sabine Wren's mom right there, and Rey's mom right there. But there are other moms in the Star Wars galaxy. Leia is not the best mom because her son also turns to the dark side. But that's sort of, you know. And Anakin's mom, she did the best with what she was given, I would say. So honestly, I'd say Shmi or either other. I don't know. Who's the best Star Wars mom? Hera. I voted Padme. But why did you vote Padme? She died immediately. What kind of mom is that? What kind of mom is that? Bit of an odd choice. Echo is the best mother? Well, Echo I don't think is a mom to anybody. Hera is the best mom, in my opinion. True. Shmi. Nice. Shmi. Shmi just has a fun name to say. Everybody say it with me. You ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Shmi. 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 Try saying that 10 times fast. Hera, she's the mom of the Ghost Crew and the mom of Jason Syndulla now. That is true. That is true. I voted Sith on YouTube too. Got a good connection to the dark side. Oh, jeez. Darth Lopez says, power, absolutely about power and bending the galaxy to my will. Damn, Lopez. That's crazy. That's crazy. Shmi. Shmi's just fun to say. Hera's probably the best. Hera is the best. Let's be honest. All right, I'm going to end this poll because it's been about around this 56, 57 mark for the majority of the stream, even though it's gotten more and more votes. This is crazy. Do you think the Acolyte will retcon the prequel trilogy? 57% of you said no, but that means that well, I guess the math is not mathing. 42% of you said yes. You think the Acolyte will retcon the prequel trilogy? I don't know if it'll be a massive retcon, but I could see there being a sort of a retcon, but it's like a tiny retcon. Like, it doesn't mean too much. As we kind of went over today, it looks like Yoda's hiding something in the prequel trilogy anyway, so it might just be the case that Yoda finds out that there are Sith at the time of the Acolyte, and that's just what the secret's being held. Yeah. All right, let's end it off on an Acolyte note. After all this conversation, do you guys think that the Acolyte will retcon the prequel trilogy? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat. What do we think? What do we think? Around that 2-hour mark, I just got to stretch it out, you know? Yeah, I know. Stingray says, the Bad Batch fandom, and I agree that Echo is the best mother for Omega. There you go. No. Well, it seems like the majority of you don't think it will be retconned, and I actually, after this conversation, will agree with you. I don't think it will retcon the prequel trilogy, but it will anger a lot of fans because they don't like to believe that Yoda is not their... They hold Yoda up on a pedestal, and he's not the best guy. He's hiding something. He is hiding something. I appreciate the hearts, guys. I really do. Kay says, I say no, but maybe something teeny, like you said. Oh, yes. I agree. Is there anything that doesn't anger some fans? That's true. Whatever they do in the Acolyte, regardless of what happens, it will anger some fans. I feel like Star Wars is at a point now where there's no denying that the fandom is always going to be split on every conversation. And it has been like that since the beginning. You could say it was the sequel trilogy that did it. The sequel trilogy had a point to doing that, but it happened all the way back with Empire Strikes Back. The first Star Wars comes out, A New Hope comes out, and some people didn't even like it. But after A New Hope was a massive success across the globe, Empire Strikes Back came out, and the bad guys won, and Vader turns out to be Luke's father. Spoiler alert. A lot of people didn't like that. Didn't like that the bad guys won, and didn't like that Vader was Luke's father, and all that other stuff. It began all the way back in day one, really. So, yeah. Yeah. Kay says, Star Wars is such a big fandom, so there's no pleasing everyone. Plus, it's trendy to hate these days. That is true. It is trendy to hate, it seems as though. And that's why this Star Wars fandom, this people who love Star Wars, which you guys are a part of, is the best part, I believe, in the best community, I believe, in the Star Wars fandom. I think we have something here that it avoids the hatred, I think. At least so far, we seem to be in this bubble where we can voice our opinions without getting hated on. And there's not a lot of hatred in the comment sections of videos and in the chat, of course, of these live streams. And it's great. It's great to see. The people who love Star Wars are riding high right now, coming off the backs of the Bad Batch and Tales of the Empire, and now coming into the Acolyte. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. If I haven't said it once, I haven't said it a million times. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. It really, really is. It really, really is. Oh, yeah. Soul says, not with Filoni as chief creative officer. I really don't know if Filoni got the promotion in time to have his sort of hands on this Acolyte show. I think he will have his hands on everything moving forward, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm still very excited for the Acolyte. Me too. Me too. Mando United said, agreed. Such a positive group, even if we don't all agree. It's true, and the Acolyte has put us up to that test. A lot of us don't agree with these conversations that we have today, or just every day now at this point. And it's nice to see a civilized conversation happen in the chat and in all of it. It's absolutely great. Yeah. West LaPierre says, the villain just can't be a Sith and a Jedi just can't live to tell the tale. Or maybe one of them will live, but the council won't believe them. Ooh, the council not believing them would be crazy. That would be wild. If they come to Yoda and the rest of the council members and say, we saw a Sith Lord, and they're like, nah, just like they did in the prequel trilogy, that would be kind of interesting. That would be interesting. I like that. Phyllis says, that's why I'm glad to be a part of this community. Well, I'm glad you are a part of this community, Phyllis. I really, really am. Darth Lopez says, which is why I only watch you now. Well, I appreciate that. You guys can watch other content creators, obviously, but I appreciate it. Haters gonna hate, potatoes are gonna potate. What? What does that mean? Starship 66 says, this is why this is such a great community. Yeah, absolutely. John says, this is why I love your channel. It's positive. There's so much hatred on other Star Wars channels, and I had to quit watching most of them. That was me too. Honestly, I was sick and tired of watching a lot of people just hate on Star Wars all the time, and sick of just seeing it in the comments. That was the birth of this channel. Was about 3.5 years ago. I was like, there's too much hatred. I want to make a literal place called a people who love Star Wars, or a guy who loves Star Wars, and just straight to the point. I'm a guy who loves Star Wars. Plain and simple. If you come here to come hate, clearly you didn't read the name. Clearly you must be blind. You got to get your eyes checked. Clearly. I appreciate it, Rose. I appreciate it. But it's all because of you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the 42 plus of you guys who are watching currently right now. That's the deal. Without you guys, it doesn't exist. So thank you guys for watching. Like just sitting here watching me talk about Star Wars for 2 hours every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You guys are the best. You're the best. The best. The best.
This is where the fun begins.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly, truly is. All right, I think we're going to get on out of here. We've gone over the 2-hour mark, and I am losing my voice from that Chewbacca impression. I appreciate it, Rose, again, very generous for the $5 holla. I really, really do appreciate it. We do have a big giveaway coming up on May 30th. It just happens to be my birthday as well. So if you were thinking about sending in any super chats, you might want to save them till then to celebrate. And also, if you're thinking about being a member, you might want to do it very soon, because you might miss out on the biggest giveaway in channel history with this Boba Fett helmet that is right behind me. It's not specifically this one, but it will be a Boba Fett helmet given away on May 30th. So watch out for that. That'll be a pretty big one, or the biggest one, I should say. And it also just so happens to be my birthday. And it's the second to last stream? Second to last stream before the Acolyte starts, because the Acolyte starts on June 4th. Pretty awesome. So yeah. I appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to get on out of here. If you have not yet, smash a freaking like on the stream. How many likes do we have? I didn't even ask, and I don't want to know. Do I want to know? Do I want to know? Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not yet. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video in my pretty face. I'll show them the recommended feed of yours. I appreciate every last one of you. Do not forget that. Do not ever forget it. And join the Discord if you're not in it and all that other fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Retcon? No. But maybe. And may the Force be with you. Always. Oh yeah, what a great stream, what a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I really do appreciate you spamming the hearts like that. It's very nice. I appreciate it. Brings a smile to my face. I appreciate it very, very much. Watch out for a video tomorrow about Master Indara possibly dying in the very first episode of this gosh darn show. Yeah, I guess that's it. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.